If you'd like online business explained to you in a way that you can actually understand, go to latenightim.com/explain. It's completely free and I made it just for you. Now, how about an episode? Episode 199.
Late Night Internet Marketing.
This week on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast, it's drop shipping update time. Back in January, we talked about drop shipping and a new drop shipping journey that I was going on with my son. And today's the day I give you an update. All this and more on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
The Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
You've been working for somebody else, but you want a business to run yourself. You want to know how to start and where to begin. Can you get out your comfort zone, my friend? Yes, you can do it right when it's late at night. At the end of the day, your dreams burning inside. So keep it up and you will find that you're building your business one night at a time.
And now, broadcasting late at night from a little studio in the big state of Texas, your host, Mark Mason.
Hey, how is everyone doing? I am your host, Mark Mason, coming to you from the still locked down, still quarantined studio in Dallas, Texas. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic time. Locked down wherever you are. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. I hope everyone that you know is safe and healthy. And I know that that may not be the case in some cases. And I feel for you. My thoughts and prayers go out to you. And I just hope you're doing the best you can do given the situation. You know, I saw on Facebook the other day a thing I was reminded of I hadn't seen in a while. It's two circles that just barely overlap. And one circle represented all the stuff that was going on in the world. Everything that was affecting you, that was going on in the world, was represented by the circle on the left-hand side. And the circle on the right-hand side, it just barely overlapped the circle on the left-hand side. And it was all the things that you could actually control in your life. And the point was, you really need to only focus where there is overlap. Only focus on the things that are going on that you can actually control. And when it comes to coronavirus, there's a lot of things that you can't control. You can't have any control over what's going on in New York City. You can't have any control over what's going on in Italy, but you can control taking care of yourself and your family. And that's what I want you to focus on. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Okay, so this week, I want to give you the first real update to a story that really started in January. In January, some very famous marketers that I've been working with on and on for years, Steve and Aiden of Blueprint Mastery, these guys that originally sold train whistles online almost now 10 years ago and just kind of blew up the physical product e-commerce training space, had a big ClickBank launch. And it was a ClickBank launch regarding a new drop shipping training product that they were offering to the marketplace. And the reason that this interested me is that I'm always on the lookout for businesses that are simple to understand and easy for side hustlers like me to implement so that I can learn about them and share them with you. And in fact, I went on a drop shipping journey with these guys back in, I think, 2017 or 2016, and did some experiments around drop shipping items from China using advertising from Facebook. And there were a couple of, this model was successful, and I sold a lot of items with this model. It was very interesting. I got my son interested in it. At that time, he was about 10 years old, and we started a store, and we sold a bunch of sort of what I describe as impulse buy items from China. And there were at least two issues with this model. One issue was, let's say there were three. One issue was the drop shipping was from China. And while it's possible to get stuff from China to the United States in a timely manner, it represents a long shipping time, especially when you consider that we're in the era of Amazon Prime, where people expect to click the button on their web browser, and then 5 minutes later, their doorbell rings and the package is there. That's essentially what Amazon has reduced things to in some cases. And so the long shipping times were an issue. The other issue was that these impulse buy products really kind of locked you into a lower price range in general because you're doing interrupt marketing on Facebook. And the idea is to find a product where people go, wow, I got to have that. And they just go ahead and buy it. No one or few people buy $100 product, but lots of people will buy $10 products that way. And that's why you see a lot of products, not all, but a lot of products advertised on Facebook in that cheaper range, that range where you don't have to balance your checkbook or adjust your finances to buy the product. So those were problems. And then the third problem was Facebook advertising is super fickle because of this issue with targeting. If you want to sell a yellow widget on Facebook, you have to figure out who might want to buy a yellow widget based on their interests. So for example, if you're selling a Dallas Cowboys jersey, which you wouldn't be able to sell because you wouldn't be able to get a license for that, but roll with me here for a minute. If you were selling a Dallas Cowboys jersey, you need to target people that maybe are interested in, that follow the Dallas Cowboys online, or they follow ESPN, or, some cross product of those. And you have to figure out these audiences based on their Facebook behavior and their broader online behavior. So that can be tricky. And like Rick Mulready says, who's probably my favorite expert in this Facebook ad space, it's some science and a lot of art. Okay, there's a lot of art to Facebook ads. And so those three things all put together made that model really difficult. And in order to get that to work, you've got to find these winning products that blow up online, like Squatty Potty or some kind of other, kind of thing that just catches fire. And you have to be able to convert those almost virally. So we had some success with that. My son and I, we did thousands of dollars worth of volume, but in the end, it was just too difficult to make it work. And so we set it aside. And when this new opportunity came out, I thought it was interesting. So what I want to do today, I want to tell you about this model, exactly how it works. And then I want to tell you about my results. I really started this in earnest in March. And now I have some results. Now we're in the beginning of April. I want to tell you about those results and be completely transparent and realistic so that you would know what to expect if you tried to do this. And then I want to tell you about my next steps, what I plan on doing in the rest of April. Then we'll come back in May, maybe the middle of May, and I'll give you an update. And by the time we get to the middle of May, I intend to be able to declare complete and total amazing success or failure, and I'm not interested, and I'm going to stop work on this in earnest. Okay. So that's sort of where we are with drop shipping. So how this drop shipping model works that is being taught in this product is called Kibo Code. And many of you remember that I mentioned this on the show back in late January when the product was coming to market. I bought into it, and some of you did as well. And in fact, there are a couple of listeners, shout out to Brady and John, who I know have actually made sales using this method and are working through the program just like I am. Here's how it works. So first of all, this uses Google shopping ads instead of Facebook ads. And I will just tell you that Google shopping ads are the little ad cards that you see whenever you go to Google. So if you go to google.com and you type in baby stroller, at the top of your search engine results, there will be some ads in little square boxes of baby strollers. That's Google Shopping. And basically it's just a title, usually truncated, of the product, a price, and the website. And sometimes you see reviews. Sometimes you see a comment like free shipping. They're right there in Google search embedded there. That's Google Shopping. And the cool thing about Google Shopping ads are they are 100 times easier to manage and deal with than Facebook ads. And they're incredibly powerful because I know that the person who sees that ad is seeing it because they searched with a keyword related to my product. And some of those keywords have strong commercial intent, like blue baby stroller with, basket. That person is looking, generally speaking, to buy a blue baby stroller with a basket. And so they click on my ad, they see, wow, this is a great looking baby stroller, and they buy it. Okay. So that's the coolness of Google Ads. So the way the model works is you find a drop shipping source for a product. You list that product for sale in your Shopify store by writing a very nice looking and compelling listing for this in your store. And then you list this in Google Shopping by essentially hooking it up to Google AdWords. And magically, it starts appearing for search terms that Google determines are relevant based on the words in your listing. So just like Google determines what websites are relevant to your search based on the words on the website, Google also determines what ads are relevant for your search based on the words in the ad. And so this is very simple and very straightforward to do. If someone buys your baby stroller, let's say it's a $200 baby stroller, they pay you $200, then you turn around and you go to the drop shipping source and you ask the drop shipper to ship a baby stroller directly to your customer, and you pay the drop shipper an amount that's considerably less than $200. Let's say for the purpose of argument, you pay $100 to the drop shipper to ship that product. You keep the $100 and you use that $100 went to the drop shipper. You get to keep $100. And with that $100, you pay Google some for the cost of the ads. And you hope by the end of it, by the time you pay Shopify and everybody else that you need to pay, that you have somewhere between 40 and 20% net profit. 20 to 40% is sort of, that's a drop shipping business that's running well, that's making 20 to 40% total net profit at the end of the day when you're putting money in the bank. So that's what you're looking to do. So, how do you set one of these things up? Well, you go get a domain name and you set up a Shopify website. That's pretty easy. You set up an ability to take payments. Shopify also makes that really easy. You find drop shippers that you can, that have products that you can sell, and you pick a product. And what do you need? What does this product need to be? Well, you need to be able to acquire it and ship it to the customer. Those two costs need to be less than half the cost that you're going to, or half the price you're going to sell it for. So in my example, maybe I pay the drop shipper $90 for the stroller and it's $10 of shipping. So my total cost to fulfill the order is $100 in my example. If I'm doing that, that stroller that I picked, it needs to be able to sell on the open market for around $200. Now, you might want a higher margin in cases where the total cost of the product is lower. So maybe it's a $20 item and you want to sell it for $59.99 because, some of your costs are fixed and some of them scale with the price of the product. You need to sort of figure all that out. But at the end of the day, you want to spend something on the order of less than half of your money sourcing the product, something on the order of less than 30% of your money advertising the product, and you keep 20%. That's sort of the way that it can work for you. And then, of course, you've got some miscellaneous expenses that you need to fit in there somewhere. And so you need to squeeze those in. So maybe a good model would be 40% product cost, 30% advertising cost, 20% profit, and 10% miscellaneous costs like the cost of your Shopify store and various overhead. So there you go. That's all you need to do. So that's interesting. And when you find a winning product that has a 30% profit margin, let's say, all done, and it's pretty much you just run that product until it's not making money anymore, and you sell as many as you can. Now, how do you pick these winning products? Well, one key criteria right now, particularly in the coronavirus, but I think because of the Amazon situation because of the expectation that Amazon has created in the marketplace, is that it needs to ship from the United States so you can fulfill that product quickly. I think that's a really key thing that you need to have in drop shipping. And that's one of the things that I'm constraining my model to rely on, is products need to ship from the United States so I can get them to my customer quickly. The other thing that I'm interested in, of course, is the profit margin. I also want to make sure that these are products that I can tell are selling based on not only on reviews that might be on the dropshipper's website, but also based on the search volume. So if I'm trying to sell a baby stroller, I'll find out, there's 50,000 people a month searching for baby strollers. I know baby strollers are selling online. But if I'm trying to sell something more obscure, let's say I'm trying to sell, a mouse pad in the shape of an octagon. I've got an octagon shaped mouse pad. Maybe there aren't too many people selling mouse pads in the shape of an octagon, or searching for that rather. And so that's probably not a good product for me. So I'm looking for something with that search volume. When I find that kind of winner, then I'm good to go. So I started doing this in March, so I figured I'd share some results with you. So for several weeks, I followed along with this course, which it's the kind of course where every week you get instructions for the next week. So it took about a month to get to the point where we're actually trying to sell something. So that got us into the middle of March, end of February, beginning of March. We really had products listed and were running ads in earnest by the middle of March. So following along with that, have gotten some sales. Actually, I've been able to sell $399 worth of products. At the time of this recording, my son and I were running the store together. We've sold $399 worth of products. But here's the kicker. Those products have come at the cost of $553 of ad spend. So right now, even not including the cost of fulfillment, the store is running at a loss of $150. And when you add in another $150 for fulfillment cost on the $400 worth of orders, our store is down $312, which sounds absolutely terrible. But we're actually pretty excited because this kind of drop shipping business is actually a numbers game. What we're trying to do is find that one product that is overwhelmingly popular and we can sell and sell and sell and sell. So we have a methodology that's taught in the course by which we actually test products, and they either pass or fail a relatively rigorous profit criteria. And if they fail, we're done with those products. We don't spend any more money on them. And if they pass, then we keep those products and we keep running them and they generate money. And the idea is over time, you would collect up a store full of winning products. And so maybe you had a product that sold 2 or 3 times a day and you made $10 every time that product sells. So that would be, say, that product averages 25 products a day. If you had 10 or 20 products like that in your store, you'd start to have a really good size store that was generating a lot of profit, maybe several $100s a day in profit. That's the numbers game. But in order to find these winners, you've got to test products. And my personal experience has been, and my experience that I'm hearing in the forums, especially when you're new to picking products, I think you might hope for a 1 in 10 success rate. So you might get down on ad spend with a model like this quite easily several $100s as we've done. That doesn't concern me personally. We've budgeted for this, so we understand that that's happening. We expect to dig out of this hole, and we'll see if that actually happens. That's what we'll be talking about in May. But that's the methodology. You test products, they fail, you get rid of them, you test more products. Eventually, you find one that's making a profit. You stay with that one, keep testing, maybe add a second one that has made a profit, and so forth. Right now, I've got a couple of products that are profitable. They're just not selling very fast. And I've killed 5 or 6 products that simply weren't profitable for whatever reason. So that is a very systematic approach. And one of the things that I really like about this from a side hustling perspective is that you can actually do this kind of business at whatever rate that is appropriate for you. Just like affiliate marketing, you can build your e-commerce business at a rate that makes sense for the time and finances that you have available to invest in the business. So I really like that for side hustlers. So report right now, very excited about almost $400 in sales, $399 in sales. Excited about that. Not so crazy about the fact that we're down a few $100s, but we expect to make that up. We'll see how that goes. So what are my next steps? So I have 2 kind of cool next steps. One is I have this goal of getting at least 50 products into test. And because that will be spread out over the month, many of them will have completed test, but 50 products live on the store and running ads by the end of April. And I'm hoping that in those 50 products, we'll find enough winners to get back to break even also by the end of April. So my goal in the end of April is not only to test 50 products, but to get back to break even. Now, you say, well, that doesn't sound very exciting, all this work for break even. I tell you, there have been people, a lot of people took this course and a lot of people are reporting their results. And what happens to you is, and this has happened countless times to people in the forums inside this Kibo course, you hit a winner and all of a sudden you've got 100 orders. And not only are you profitable, you're scrambling to figure out how you're going to pay for all the inventory that you need to ship the orders, because there's a 3-day delay between when your customer pays Shopify and Shopify sends you the money. And then there's another day of delay at your bank. So it turns into cash flow management. It's a great problem to have, easily actually managed by a credit card. But it's interesting because you hear over and over again the story of people who worked on this for weeks and nothing happened and they were losing money. And all of a sudden they hit that one product and boom, they're suddenly in the black and headed for fame and fortune. So that's what my son and I are hoping for. We'll see if that happens in April. But the only way to get this to happen is to actually test the products. So here's something that I saw in this program over and over again is people who were unwilling to do the work, unwilling to take the risk, unable to spend the money. You pick an excuse or a reason code, right? And they quit too soon. And I don't know how many times I have said this, but the biggest reason that I see for failure in internet business today over and over and over again is people quit too soon. And you can't imagine the number of people that I've seen quit this dropshipping program just because they just weren't willing to stick it out. Now, I'm sure in some cases there were overriding financial issues that made it difficult for them to invest the money that they needed to do the testing. I understand that. These things happen. Hopefully for them, they'll get back to it at some point. But more often I see people that are just discouraged. They're looking for easy money. They expected a magic bullet. They wanted to test 2 products and buy a yacht. And that's not real. That does not happen. It doesn't happen in affiliate marketing and it doesn't happen in drop shipping. Do you hear stories where that happens? Absolutely. Is there always more work involved on these instant successes than you ever hear about. Yes, in my experience, there's always, 2 or 3 years of backstory that nobody ever bothers to tell you. But the truth of the matter is, if you want to be successful in something like this, you've got to grind it out and do the work. So here's the second plan. So part A of the plan is 50 products in April with a decision and an update to you guys in May. I hope you'll enjoy waiting for that. The second part of the puzzle is I actually picked a product that's going to be the late night internet marketing champion product. I got to thinking, one of the things that you do when you're picking products for drop shipping is you look at a supplier and you say, what are people doing right now? And so, the first thing you might want to say is they're buying toilet paper and N95 masks. And let me tell you, if you try to sell things like that online right now, Google gets really upset with people who are doing that because they see a lot of those opportunities as taking advantage of the current situation. So you want to stay away from that. What I'm talking about is, what is the current situation done to change people's behavior in the same way that you might change your product mix if it were Christmas, or the same way you might do something special on Black Friday. Right now, we're in a special situation. What are people doing? Well, they're working from home. They're going to school from home. They're looking for stuff they can do at home. They're looking for hobbies and stuff to do. So I've heard from all of my friends, particularly that are in the fulfilled by Amazon space, all of these kind of products are taking off like crazy. Everything from staplers to jigsaw puzzles, all this kind of telecommuting equipment, webcams, microphones, all that kind of stuff that you need to deal with the current situation. That's been in high demand. Fitness equipment, all the gyms are closed. So what's everyone doing? They're buying workout at home, fitness related equipment, dumbbells, stretchy rubber bands, all kinds of things that you can imagine, yoga mats, so that they can work out at home. So understanding that situation, I got to looking around the supplier and I thought, one of the things people are doing is trying to find experiences to occupy their children. I know this because I have children. And one of the things that I ran across that looked very interesting to me, that had a lot of good reviews, a really nice price point, and seemed to be like an interesting product, was a telescope, the kind of telescope that you would put out in your driveway. Now, this is kind of a beginner-sized telescope. It has a price point that's going to be a purchase price that's going to be around $99. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to price it yet. And I will procure it and fulfill it for around $40. So that's right in the model that we were talking about, $100 product, a $40 sourcing price. That means that I need to be able to spend $30 or less per sale in order to be able to keep $20 every time I sell a telescope. That's the goal for this experiment. So I'm going to run the telescope ad and I'll give you all the details in May. We'll break the campaign down. I'll let you know. And don't worry, if things get super exciting, I will absolutely give you an update sooner. But I expect that in the next couple of weeks, by the time I get the listing written, get the product ads going, it takes a while for the ads to ramp up. I'll know whether this was a winner or a bust by May. So that's going to be my little experiment for you, the late night internet marketing listener. So I hope that you found this interesting and educational. If you have questions about drop shipping, I'd love to hear them. If I said something that made you wonder, I wonder what that means, hit me up at feedback@latenighinternetmarketing.com. I would love to answer your questions about drop shipping or about my experience or anything that you want to talk about. We can definitely do that. I'd love to hear from you. If you are interested in these different kinds of internet business models, I have an absolutely free course over at latenighinternetmarketing.com/start. And that course breaks down all the different kinds of internet business models that you might be interested in, kind of explains to you the difference. If you're new to internet business and you're just kind of Googling around trying to figure out what it all means, this is an awesome place to start. Of course, at latenightim.com/start. So until next week, I hope everything goes really well for you, because next week I have something special. Amazingly, after 10 years of podcasting, I've finally made it to episode 200. That's pretty exciting. I have a special episode planned for you next week. So be sure to tune in and tell your friends. And until next week, be sure to wash your hands and not touch your face. Ciao.
You can do it right when it's late at night.
You've been listening to the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
Be sure to visit lnimpodcast.com today to leave feedback for Mark. Download special bonus content, access the show notes, and more. See you there.
Until then, go and make some great progress on your internet business, one night at a time.
Business one night at a time.
All right. Coronavirus day 4,375,217. It's not really that many days, but man, it feels like it some days. I tell you, family's awesome. Work has been crazy. Day job work. Oh my gosh. So I work for a large multinational company, and this coronavirus thing has worldwide supply chain implications. So there's been a lot of activity, both from customers, which I am sometimes my role is customer facing, and factories. Sometimes my role is factory facing. And it's just because it's worldwide, it's been all through the day and night. So I've gone from working a regular number of hours to working even more. And because I'm always available, at least theoretically, just too convenient to work because I'm here at the house. And so that's something I really had to manage. I'm trying to set some boundaries. In fact, today, on the day I'm recording this, I actually took a day of vacation to go nowhere so that I could work on some internet business type stuff. So trying to put a bright line between work time and day job time and side hustle time and family time. But the problem is all during that time, I'm sitting in exactly the same chair. So I know some of you that work from home have had this complication forever. It's new to me because normally I have these nice physical changes of driving to work, driving home, leaving the house, those sorts of things to break things up. This is really new for me. It's been very interesting, but we're doing great. And I'm happy about that. And we're safe and healthy. Had a fun birthday this week. And maybe I'll tell you guys about that. But we next week. But we took out food from one of my favorite restaurants, and it was fun. Until next week, stay safe. Talk to you later.
Late night internet marketing.
Hey, it's Mark again. I wanted to tell you one more time about this absolutely free resource that I have for helping people who are trying to get the big picture for internet marketing, actually get started and understand what all their choices are. If that's not you, there's no more content. You can skip to the end. But if you're someone who came to this podcast because you're searching for how to get started online and you just can't cut through all the noise, I get it. That was me. In 2007, when I was trying to get started, there were so many people throwing offers at me that I really couldn't even understand what all the different business models were. I couldn't understand how money moved around on the internet. And I couldn't really get a grip on what direction I wanted to go in so I could figure out how to move forward. I've created a free video resource for you just for that purpose at latenightim.com/explain. In several short videos, I just explained to you what internet marketing is all about and what online business is all about and the different options that you have for starting an online business. There's nothing to buy there. You just sign up for access and you get the videos just like that. So if that's interesting to you, or if you know someone who's in a same situation send them that link, latenightim.com/explain. And let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what people are thinking that are in the exact same position that I was in more than a decade ago in 2007. In some ways, it seems like yesterday. And in some ways, it seems like an entire lifetime ago. Again, that's latenightim.com/explain.
Late night internet.